The college football experience, college football playoff 12-team reaction show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog is hooking up new customers. Play $5, get $75 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code. That is TCE SGPN. So do that. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
This is Brian Bosworth, a.k.a. The Boz, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother. Peace out. Boz out.
Welcome to the college football experience. 12-team invitational playoff reaction show episode. YouTube.com/the college experience. Get on over there, hit that like and subscribe button, because I apologize first and foremost. I wanted to do the show last night, but well, life was not very fortunate to a certain extent. It was fortunate, but it was not fortunate because I spent the college football Saturday in the emergency room. Yeah, I had been dealing with the cold for like I had been dealing with the cold for like 2 weeks, and then it was like, you know, my face got swollen, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on, man?" I went there. And then even worse is like I'm thinking like I have an infected tooth or some shit, which I still think is. But at the time, the doctor actually then orders for me. I had to do an MRI on my brain. No CTE there, by the way. And also, yeah, I feel sorry for what poor bastard had to look into my brain. All right, but dude, I was watching some of the games, but I was occupied the whole day essentially, as far as like going back and forth. I had my phone with me a lot, but dude, if you've done the MRI experience, you're just sitting in there for like an hour or so. You know, if you're claustrophobic, which I manned up, did not sedate me, but I was occupied a lot of the Saturday, so I wanted to do this episode, but dude, I didn't get out of there for a long time, and you know, I apologize for not getting this episode done, but you guys held it down on the basketball show by doing a little bit of the reaction show, and I appreciate that. But anyway, yes, if you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swig at Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
Nobody knows nothing. Somebody knows. Double the price. But no one touches Dundee.
This is a great show, I think, because we get to talk a lot about what's happening in the sport and recap 4 games that we wouldn't have had not too long ago. I'm going to take you through a journey in time at some point in this episode. It'll be fun. It'll be fun, I think. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I am joined by my co-host. He is the host of the College Basketball Experience, which will be going live in about an hour and a half here. Give it up for former staffer at Austin P with the Governors, South Carolina with the Gamecocks, and West Virginia with the Mountaineers, Ryan McIntyre, a.k.a. Monetline Mac. What's up, man?
What is up? Yes, glad you're doing better. Yeah, we did hold it down. I wish some results may have been a little bit different. That some of the teams I wanted to win did not win, but overall, betting-wise, it was a good weekend for me. So cheers, everybody.
There we go. And cheers to Eric in the chat, just serving up $200. Thanks for the awesome season, guys. Won a ton of money because of y'all. Thank you, brother. And next time we're in Vegas, we are going to hit you up, bro. All right, which will be March, by the way. March Madness.
That's like right around the corner.
Yeah, we can already tell you. March Madness, we will be there.
Woo!
Come on out, bro. We're gonna buy you drinks. I'll deck you out in gear. You could have the gear. Maybe you don't want to deck yourself out in the gear, but whatever. We're very grateful, bro. And thank you, man. The chat cracking me up. No, not this time. They didn't get me on that.
OCTE on that.
Yeah. But buddy, let's, like I said, I want to recap before I can talk on what's going on within the sport. And let's just start from the top because on Friday we had Alabama, Oklahoma. I mean, how great was the college campus setting? All 4 games were absolutely fucking ridiculous. It was everything that makes college football amazing as far as the home environments. They should play every playoff game at home, except the national championship, in my opinion. Which they can rotate the Natty. They can put it at the Rose Bowl nonstop. Either way, I'm on board. But I would prefer, if it was me, they just do the bowls, the real Cotton Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Liberty Bowl, the Yale Bowl. Let's go. But Sun Bowl. But this game obviously was fucking insane. Oklahoma jumps up to a 17-0 lead. I was on Sports Grid doing the spot, was talking shit. Oh man, this is an easy play. And then we had just one of the crazier comebacks. One of the crazier comebacks because it's not like they did it with yards. I want to paint this one differently than the first matchup. Now, yes, the first matchup, the team that got severely outgained won the game. Same situation happened here, but the difference was one team wasn't coming back from double digits. In the game in Tuscaloosa, Oklahoma pretty much won wire to wire, or led wire to wire. I think for one instant, Bama took a lead. But yeah, this was shocking. If you can come back, I had some Bama fans hitting me up, and look, you should be talking shit because you won the game, right? And this is America. This is what's supposed to happen if you're a football fan. But I also think you should sit there and say, this is a miracle, right? This is a miracle. When you go 2 for 12 on third down and run for 28 yards and get sacked 5 times, and come back from double digits, 17 points, not 10, 17 points. I feel like that is a lottery ticket. You just cashed a fucking lottery ticket. Oklahoma's punter obviously gave away, I think you could argue 2 scores with the second punt, but obviously the one where he handed it off or dropped the ball. And then you had obviously Mateer with one of the worst passes ever. And you just had terrible coaching down the stretch right before half, not throwing the Hail Mary, but shout out to Alabama. They made the plays to get it done. I mean, look, I know you can say, well, did they really make the play or the punter dropped the ball? They still put themselves in that spot. I don't know what else to say. Did they get lucky? Sure, but Oklahoma. This is more about Oklahoma shit in the bed to me. Their kicker, All-American kicker, misses 2 field goals. Pretty fucking hilarious. The last one because they like wheeled him out way early, try to get the ball back, and it's yeah. Your thoughts on this game, because this was this one. If you're a Sooner fan, you're going to remember this on your deathbed because dude, I was actually like watching the first quarter. I was watching Oklahoma do this and I was like, they could be I know their offense is ass, but I was like, that defense is so nasty. They might be able to go a couple rounds, but no, then Bama figured it out. But your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you summed it up pretty well. Oklahoma, this is one that's going to haunt you for a long, long time. You don't get 3-score leads like this in the playoff. Ironically, the last time Oklahoma had a 3-score lead in the playoff was against Georgia in the Rose Bowl. And they're still kicking themselves over that one with Baker Mayfield. So this one was disappointing if you're an Oklahoma fan because it came on campus. That crowd was juiced up, ready to go. Credit Alabama for not quitting and not lying down. Because when it was 17-0, I'm like, oh, fuck, bad pick by me on Alabama. They're cooked. But they saved the course. They didn't make a mistake that could have blown the game.
They fumbled, but they recovered it.
Yeah.
They fumbled, but they recovered it. So, yeah, they and then they avoided the interception. I don't even think there was any balls, to Ty Simpson's credit, because he was getting his ass whooped early on.
Oh, he's getting killed.
I don't think he threw any balls that like just straight hit the defender and they were dropped. I think this was just, there were some drop balls by. How about it? And that's one thing I will say. And shout out to JMU's Twitter for shitting on the quality of the game, because there was about 20 drop touchdowns. I feel like in this game, drop punts, terrible field goals. But man, shout out to the Tide, and Kalen DeBoer continues when you're ranked, you don't want to be facing DeBoer. All right.
It's automatic. Especially when he's a short dog here. But yeah, a collapse by Oklahoma, special teams, McIntyre. I mean, that McIntyre throw, my God. And then the kicking woes, man, that took the air out of the building in the second half, I thought.
And what's crazy is like they had kind of touted themselves as being one of the best special teams units in the country. And that was honestly that's how they lost the game. I mean, you take away that's like 10 points on the punter because he gave them 7, and then the 25-yard punt or whatever, 30-yard punt out of the end zone, and then the kicker missing 2. So that's 16 points. That's your game.
Yeah, it's one they're gonna kick themselves for a long, long time. Like that's a brutal loss.
I mean, you tell me you have Venables at home, Oklahoma Memorial Stadium with a 17-point lead. I would say
automatic.
Honestly, I would say you could play a million games. You're probably going to hit 1 or 2 on a comeback.
Yeah.
And this was that. Yeah.
Stunning comeback. So yeah. Shout out to the Tide. They move on. Now they go to they should be going to Bloomington, but they're playing the neutral site against Indiana.
Yeah. I mean, the Rose Bowl is great, but yeah, it should be in Bloomington. The fact that it's still hilarious that the fact that the top 4 seeds don't get seeing that what I saw in Eugene and College Station and Oxford and Norman, it was like, this is why the sport's the greatest. That you need to market this. You need to be marketing this. You have the greatest. That is one of the greatest things about college football is your stadiums. They're almost every stadium's like 100 years old. Your traditions, your bands, your the shit coming out of there. Whether it's the duck on the motorcycle, whether it's Hottie Toddy, whether it's obviously the Sooner. There's just so much great shit about it, and you're avoiding it. But yeah. So we jump over into Saturday morning, and this was the one, to be fair, I had to go back and watch because this was the biggest chunk that I was gone. As far as like, I was in the emergency room waiting. So I once I got into, my room, they had a TV and I was able to throw it on, but, man, I'm curious more so your thoughts on like the first half, because the first half was just a complete shit fest. I loved it. I loved every second of it. Which once again, I didn't get it until I didn't see the first half until today. I caught the second half in the room, but hilarious game, 10-3. Miami wins. Shout out to Mario Cristobal. I mean, I think part of my handicap of this game, I thought A&M would be able to run better on Miami's defense, which did not happen. But I also thought, hey, if Marcel Reed does not make mistakes, because that's how A&M loses the game. If they ask him to throw the ball a lot, I think they could lose the game. Well, he threw the ball 39 times. What? Who do they think they got? Dan Fouts back there? What the fuck is that?
I don't understand why they threw the ball so much.
Yeah.
It was a 1-score game. I mean, it was 10-3. They should have ran the shit out of the ball more. I know they weren't having as much success running the ball with the running backs, but I thought they could have schemed some things up for Reed. I thought on the perimeter, but A&M, another kind of disappointing big game loss.
I mean, part of that is kind of hilarious. I mean, I know I cashed my A&M to make the playoffs ticket from the beginning of the season, but it is hilarious. The fact that they finally hosted a game. It was incredible. The fan turnout, biggest audience ever there.
Yeah. And
then to only put up 3 points. How about this? To have over 300 yards and only put up 3 points is almost challenging.
Those turnovers by Reed. I mean, I know everybody remembers the last one, but the first one was ridiculous too. I was like, God. Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what, man? They kind of were a little bit fool's gold looking back on it. They didn't play anybody in the SEC. They beat up on the bottom half.
Well, they still beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. So what's that tell you? You know, like,
Wait, yeah.
I mean, it's still a hilarious box score, dude. Because if you were to just not look at the score and say, okay, Miami had 12 first downs, A&M had 21. Miami was 3 for 12 on third down and fourth down, right? 3 of 12, terrible. A&M was 8 of 19 on third and fourth down. That's pretty respectable, right? A&M wins the yardage by 50 yards or so. I mean, they hold Miami to 278 yards, which you would say, oh my God, that's incredible. A&M also 7 sacks. What? It's like, how do you lose? Obviously and I guess fumbles lost was even too, which is just crazy. A&M won the time of possession, much like Oklahoma. So it's just a hilarious game. I thoroughly enjoyed the defense. To someone's point in the chat there, I thoroughly enjoyed the slugfest that is. So,
yeah, I did too. I thought the defenses were really good. I know people are kind of over the top whenever they see a 0-0 game. It was 0-0 because the kickers kept missing fucking field goals.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean that the game was bad. The kickers sucked because of the win. So
I
enjoyed it. I thought both teams were physical at the line of scrimmage, and then ultimately in the second half, Mark Fletcher had some big run.
Dude, he game ball. Mark Fletcher, dude, dog. And shout out to his mom. I know was partying in the stands.
Good for her.
That's got to be the greatest feeling ever in front of 120,000. You know, whatever that number was, 110, whatever the number was. Just a great feeling. Thought it was quite hilarious when Malachi Toney ran it in and didn't go down.
No, that was such a Cristobal thing.
But well, I don't know, because I think if there was ever a game where you say maybe you do score because you don't want to rely on your kicker, yeah, I was making the case for that. Like maybe it was the best thing, because it's not like A&M's offense had been killing it. They keep turning them over, but man, they got down there fast, and then just a terrible pass in the end zone. Fucking game was great.
No way Mario said anything. It just happened.
Yeah.
Miami, Ohio State now rematch of the legendary national championship in 2002.
Oh, dude, I remember where I was. With crazy that shit, man. Yeah, I'm excited for that. Next up, we had Tulane and Ole Miss. This one, I think my handicap was a little bit off in hindsight. That's a lot to do. I don't know that Tulane has the roster this year, but I also think Summerall not only had and by the way, that line is wrong on the top right. He not only took the Florida job, but he also had his dad die like the night before or 2 nights before. That's a lot to fucking do to put your game plan. But yeah, I mean, Ole Miss dominated the fucking game. I totally thought this would be the chippier game just because it was a rematch, but man, I mean, Tulane, that interception on the first drive inside the 20 by Retzlaff was fucking huge. I mean, they would have got destroyed probably any which way you cut it. But yeah, shout out to Ole Miss and shout out to Pete Golding. 1 playoff win, Lane Kiffin 0.
Exactly. That was my handicap. It was the rally for Golding game. The post Lane Kiffin bump, and that crowd was juiced up, ready to go. Chambliss, I mean, he played well once again. Fair State. Austin Simmons tried to give it away there at the end of the first half.
Got in there and fumbled the ball. Man, yeah. There was a point where I thought, like, I don't know if it was the late second quarter where like Tulane had a couple. They were starting to have line success rushing the ball for like a few plays, and I was like, okay, if we can get that going. But in the second half, man, for whatever reason, Golden made his adjustments and stuff. And every drive kept the coaching. I like Summerall a lot, but to call the back-to-back quarterback sneak after your line did nothing the first on 3rd and inches.
Yeah. And
then to do it again. And I was just like, dude, at least at that point I would be like, go to vertically, or go to the outside or something, like don't do the same thing, 'cause that didn't work. Yeah. So shout out to Ole Miss there. And then the nightcap was JMU and Oregon. I don't know why the slide looks like that, but who cares? Because Oregon won 51-34 against JMU. And we got the cover here. your thoughts on this one? As I really thought. I mean, JMU's defense was just outmatched, but their offense, I thought, actually had a really good game plan. They just didn't. I mean, yes, they didn't have the Jimmy and Johns, but I still thought that game plan, if they didn't get the block kick, I still thought they had a really good offensive game plan. And even before it got out of hand, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, they got hit in the mouth. They got punched in the mouth. They got kind of shocked there, and next thing you know, it was a 21-point game, and they kind of really never could come back and really challenge and threaten Oregon. Oregon played well, man. Oregon came out with the crowd at their back, and they executed that first drive, and then the second drive as well got a stop there. But I'm with JMU moved the football the entire night. They had 500 yards of offense. Don't give me that Oregon checked out. Oregon kept their starters in the whole game. Oregon doesn't take their foot off the gas pedal. I just wish JMU had started a little bit quicker to see if they could have applied a little bit of game pressure to Oregon. So credit to Oregon. They're on to play Texas Tech now, but JMU scored more points than any other team so far this year against Oregon.
Yeah. I was impressed in the first half. Like, I mean, I'll make my point in a second here, but yeah. And shout out to the Ducks. Obviously, that offense was fire. What's that?
The Thai Duck fans say that third and fourth string. No, they did not put their third and fourth string in. That their starters were in. Dante Moore played the entire game. They kept their starters in the entire game. That's a false narrative that Oregon pulled their starters out of the lineup. That did not happen. JMU executed in the second half. JMU just got hit in the mouth. And the moment was a little bit too big for him to start the game. I completely disagree with that.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk more on that in a second, but let's first. I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by us. Yes, we are part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Get access to all of our free picks and podcasts in one convenient place, and that is the SGPN app. Download it for free in the App Store and Google Play Store. Just type in SGPN. Remember, as always, to let it ride. We're also brought to you by Kalshi. Yeah, we just partnered up with Kalshi, a real money prediction market, legal in all 50 states. In all 50 states, you can trade tons of markets in sports, including, well, college football, college hoops, NFL, NBA, NHL, and much, much more. Plus, you can even trade props like first touchdowns. And besides sports, they got a ton of other markets, including politics, entertainment, hell, even the weather. Kalshi, you can trade anything. New Kalshi customers get $20 when you use the promo code SGPN. That's KALSHI. Kalshi, promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is your home for pick'em entries where you can win up to 5,000 times the amount of money you enter. And Underdog has you covered this holiday season with Underdog Unwrapped. Yes, you'll unwrap tons of promos all throughout the holidays. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers too. Play $5, get $75 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code TCESGPN. So do that and let it ride. All right, we are back, and yeah, from the start here.
Dante Moore was throwing the ball. Dante Moore was airing the ball out when they're up 30. Don't tell me that they pulled their starters. They tried to run the shit up. They couldn't pull away and run it up the way that they did against Oklahoma State and others. That's a bullshit narrative.
It is. And a lot of people are overreacting to this lopsided score within, whether you want to choose the game in Oxford or the game in Eugene at Autzen Stadium. Blowouts are college football. There's a huge element of that. Doesn't matter if you look at FCS, D2, D3, NAIA, whatever the fuck you want to look at. Blowouts are college football. But this is where we hop in a time machine, because one pick Dundee, will take you on a journey. We will go through the history of college football. I started watching college football in the late 80s, but I'm not going to go that far back for you. I'll just say, let's start back when we had this terrible system where we just voted the AP voters and the coaches poll would just deem the national championship. Sometimes you didn't even play. A lot of times you did, and it got better and better as the things went along. Then we had the BCS era, And then we had the 4-team playoff era invitational. And then now we have the 12-team invitational. So let's start in 1995, where Nebraska, Tommy Frazier, with one of the greatest runs in fucking college football history, took down Florida in the national championship 62-24. Holy shit. How did they do that? They were up 35-10 at halftime. Maybe we should get rid of Florida. Maybe they shouldn't play, right? That they didn't think like that in 95 though. They said, no, we're going to continue to schedule games against other conferences outside. We're not just going to say, hey, they're not worthy of the national championship, because Florida wins one a couple years later. Actually, the next year. Yes, because guess what happened in 1996 in the national championship? They fucking destroyed Florida State 52-20 in the national championship in New Orleans, neutral site. Holy shit. I mean, look, these scores are ridiculous. How can we appreciate college football? This is ridiculous. You can't do this. I'm sure this has got to be just a couple year blunder, Dundee, right? No, let's jump in history to 97, the very next year, where Nebraska, Tennessee played for a national championship, and Nebraska won 42-17. Holy shit, more dominance. Just unbelievable there. That's got to be, that's just a 90s thing, right? That couldn't have been, I mean, it can't be much more than that, just a 90s thing. Let's go to 2002, Miami, Nebraska. Oh, the national championship, where they put Nebraska in over Colorado, despite Colorado winning the Big 12 and beating Nebraska the last game of the season by over 36 points and dropping 62 on them. Oh, they played Miami, and guess what? Miami won 37-14, but they were up 34-0 at halftime. Holy fuck. What? No way. No way. This shouldn't be allowed. This shouldn't be allowed. I'm surprised they didn't put Nebraska in the FCS after that one. Then in 2005, no, don't jump ahead. USC and Oklahoma played in this national championship in the BCS. The computers put them together. 55-19 was the final score. It was 38-10 at halftime. What are you doing, Dundee? No way. This can't be true. It can't be fucking true. Then, okay, next. No, not the next fucking. No, don't just say a year or two later we get the same thing. Florida, Ohio State played in the national championship 41-14. Urban Meyer sticks it on them in Glendale, Arizona. That's just disgusting. Unbelievable. How do we bear with the sport with blowouts like this? I don't know what's going on. 2010? Oh, this one 37-20. That's only a 17-point win. Oh, but it was 24-6 at halftime. No. Look, that's not that bad. That one's not that bad. Well, let's go. Let's look at 2 years later, Alabama skunks LSU in the national championship, wins 21-0. Unbelievable what happens here. Oh man, what's that?
LSU did not cross the 50-yard line until the fourth quarter of this game, man.
Oh my God. Yes. I mean, come on, look, they got to be relegated back to the Sun Belt. All right. Well, that had to happen, right? Did that happen? I don't think it did. Oh, but guess what happened in 2013? Alabama in the national championship played Notre Dame and McIntyre and his girlfriend, and they were up 28-0 at halftime. And they won 42-14. Did we kick Notre Dame out of college football? No, we didn't. We said you can come back, all right? And there's more on Notre Dame in a minute, but let's go to the 4-team invitational, because the 4-team invitational, we figured this out. Year 1, 4-team invitational, Oregon, Florida State, Rose Bowl, 59-20. What? You dropped 59? Florida State shouldn't be allowed back there. That's ridiculous. No, don't tell me. Don't tell me more. Wait, the national championship happened a week later, and guess what? Ohio State won 42-20, a 22-point win in Arlington, Texas. They were up double digits at halftime. I'm sorry. It can't. Wait, no. Wait, in 2015, no. Alabama won 38-0 against Michigan State in Arlington, Texas. That's ridiculous. You can't. Look, Dundee, this has got to stop, right? Look. Oh, Clemson and Oklahoma, the other side of the bracket, 37-17 against Oklahoma. No. That just look, we got to get rid of Oklahoma, right? What happened the very next year? Clemson and Ohio State played 31-0. Holy shit! They didn't even get a point on the board. The Buckeyes. I'm sure they must have been pushed back to the MAC for that. All right, don't put them in the playoff again, right? Alabama and Clemson. Then it's 24-6. 24-6 in Glendale, Arizona. That they only got 6 points that whole game. Come on, even JMU and Tulane got more than that. But hey, you know, I'm glad to see that they didn't put Clemson, that they didn't knock them out. They said, you're allowed to come back to the playoffs if you're good enough, right? Oh, yes. And guess what? They were good enough the very next year because they beat Notre Dame 30-3 in Arlington, Texas in 2018. Notre Dame only put up 3 points. Oh my gosh, what happened to no, it's got to stop. No, then the national championship a week later in Santa Clara, California, of all places, they took down Nick Saban 44-16. Nick Saban, look, did they tell Saban, dude, you need a 5-year show clause. You cannot come back to the college football playoffs after this type of ass whooping. I mean, that's uncalled for. What happened the very next year? Oh my gosh, we had LSU take down Oklahoma, scored 63. They were up 49-14 at halftime in Atlanta. Wow, they scored 63 and they were up 49-14 at halftime. Okay, but then, there's the Alabama game the very next year, 31-14 against Notre Dame. And that game was never close if you look into the box score. The very next game after that, 2020's other side of the bracket. Yes, Ohio State took down Clemson 49-28. It was 35-14 at halftime in New Orleans. Unfucking believable. And then the national championship game. How could we not forget the COVID national championship where Alabama and Saban, they invited them back, I guess. They broke their own rule, right? And 35-17 at halftime, they win 52-24 against the Buckeyes. Unfucking believable there. I'm sure they told Ohio State, dude, best you don't come back to the playoffs for a few years. You're not very good. All right. And then the next year, whoa, what happened here? Georgia, Michigan, man, 27-3 at halftime. Georgia wins 31-11 against Jim Harbaugh and Michigan. I'm sure they'll do nothing in the future either, right? How can you forget this one at that stupid SoFi Stadium? 65-7, Georgia to end the 4-team invitational. They go, 35-7 at halftime. Georgia had this thing unbelievable. There's no blowouts in college football. I'm surprised TCU still fields a football team. This is like Cumberland and Georgia Tech back in the day, right? But no, okay. Then last year we had this 12-team invitational, right? Where Ohio State and Tennessee did battle in Columbus, Ohio. And guess what? After the first fucking quarter, it was 21-0 Ohio State. And don't even do a deep dive on this one, man. They had like 11 yards of offense the whole first quarter. This one was just disgusting. Tennessee, I mean, they shouldn't even be allowed in the SEC after that performance. All right, that relegation right there. Put them, bring up Murfreesboro, Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders to the SEC. Take down the Vols. But at the same time, the same very day, Penn State and SMU played. And it was 28-0 at halftime, and then they won 38-10 in State College. Wow, that 28-0 halftime lead, unbelievable. And they allowed them to stay in the ACC. Then at the same time, Texas and Clemson played later that day. It was 38-24, only a 14-point win, but it was 28-10 at halftime. Pretty ridiculous. And then, okay, that was the first round. Never they would do that in the second round. They would not do this in the second round, right? Oh, then there's Oregon, the very team that did this to JMU. Well, how could JMU be this bad, right? Right. Well, how could Oregon be this bad? They were down 30. Yeah, they were down 34-8 at halftime in Pasadena, even on the West Coast time zone. Unbelievable. Final score was 41-21 as they look. I'm sure Ohio State, I saw one Oregon beat reporter say, well, if Oregon wanted to score 50, they could have and really done it if that's what it took to get to the next round. And I believe them, right? Because Oregon could have scored more points. But guess what? Ohio State could have scored 60 this game if they wanted to. But they knew that shit was over at halftime when they were up 34-8. Don't want to hear your bullshit. All right. Don't want to hear your bullshit. So yes, blowouts are college football, you fucking morons out there. And guess what's great about college football? Access, right? That's how you build things, right? And I hear all these talking heads, mainly SEC heads, but there's some other ones out there that are sitting on their fucking high horse. They're sitting on their fucking high horse after the blowouts yesterday, right? There was a lot of blowouts yesterday and the mid majors got shitted on. 100% true. But guess what? That's a good thing for these mid majors, believe it or not. It's not a good thing that they got blown out, but it's a good thing they got to the playoffs. I read this week that Tulane got more money in 1 week than they had for their program investment from boosters than they have gotten ever before. The largest amount ever before. That's how you build something. Do not turn off this fucking thing. They're going to turn it off. I bet because they have the power, but they're in the wrong. This is how programs get built. And I don't want to hear any of these fucking SEC talking heads sit there and say, like what? I feel like every SEC head is just ruthlessly shitting on Tulane and JMU. I don't want to hear these suits. They can't talk. Andy Staples, Josh Pate, Feinbaum, Clay Travis. Look, you have no say here, because if you really cared about fucking blowouts, then you would be talking about the ones the SEC play every fucking November. This is what the SEC has done in 10 years in November, where the committee is on record saying wins are more important in November than they are in October and September. Look at that fucking graphic. If you showed this to the college football committee, they wouldn't even know any of these fucking graphics that don't explain their fucking title. Short of Western Carolina in there, and Rice and Samford and the Citadel, every other one, they'd be like, who the fuck is that? Look at this, youtube.com/the college experience. Look at this list. Look at this list in November. This is the second to last week of the season. You played Charlotte, East Tennessee State, Samford, the Citadel, New Mexico State. By the way, you played New Mexico State 14 times in that 10-year stretch, right? You played Mercer, Tennessee Tech, Chattanooga, Eastern Illinois, Prairie View, Maine, Western Carolina, UAB, Louisiana Tech, UMass, ULM, Wofford, New Mexico, Jacksonville State, North Texas, Abilene Christian, Eastern Kentucky, the Blue Hose of Presbyterian, which don't even do scholarships, you fucking losers, right? Alabama A&M, Indiana, Austin P, Akron, UTEP, UConn, Rice, Middle Tennessee, UT Martin, Charleston Southern, Florida International, Tennessee State, and South Alabama. And guess what? The worst part about it is you've actually lost to some of these fucking teams too, right? I don't want to hear your bullshit. I don't want to hear your bullshit. Building programs takes ass whoopings. All right. Which will bring me to my next spot here, but you need accessibility. Oregon, Ole Miss, congratulations on your wins. I hope you guys play in the fucking national championship or go as far as you can. Right. But let's not forget, the key to all of this is accessibility. Tulane just got the most money. You can't think just this year. You should be thinking 10 years, 15 years down the road. That's why you should keep this playoff system. If anything, the problem is the playoff system's too small. It needs more teams. Vanderbilt, BYU, Notre Dame. Sure, they could win the national championship this year. I agree. It's possible, right? They should have been in the playoffs. Shit, I'll even make a case for Texas and Iowa. You need a big enough playoff to cast that net. But what I won't do is negate Tulane and JMU from playing in the fucking playoffs. They earned their way there. Tulane is still 2-2 against the Power 5, and they beat the ACC champ, and they won the best Power 5 conference that was out there. And JMU went 12-1. And to me, anybody that goes 12-1 in FBS college football should be playing in the fucking postseason, right? So it's not on them, but you got to understand how this shit works, right? And this is what I can't stand all these opinions I see. This is how it works. You see it all the time in college basketball, but you can't compare basketball to football. Yes, we can right here. Accessibility. Look at Gonzaga. Look at Xavier. Look at Butler. Look at even UConn. Accessibility is everything. It buys into your fan base. Locals around. By you having the faucet open, Tulane just got the most money they had in a week, in their history with donations. I imagine JMU's doing something similar right now. And JMU was an FCS school just 5 fucking years ago. You're telling me there's not momentum behind that program? So yeah, they took their ass whoopings, right? They took their ass whoopings, but that's not the reason to get rid of it. Because guess what? You got a fan base excited now about your fucking football team. And with that comes more money. And with that comes more opportunity. And also more fans will join in long-term if you keep the accessibility. Look at Oregon and Ole Miss. I'm an old school college football fan. I've been a fan since the fucking 80s. Since I've been alive, hey, I remember Ole Miss in 1993 losing to Memphis. They were a doormat in the SEC. They lost 19-3 to Memphis in 93. No, that must have been a one-year thing. No, in 94, they lost to that same Memphis team 17-60. No. 2003, they played Memphis. Guess what? 44-34. Memphis just keeps fucking up Ole Miss, right? 2004, again, the very next year, 20-13, Memphis gets them. No. This is a serious program, right? No, Wyoming, how about them? They stuck it to Ole Miss in 2004, 37-32, right? But the very next year they won a home and home against Ole Miss. They went to Oxford and won 24-14. No way. Unbelievable. What about an FCS coming into Oxford? Just Hey, just 15 years ago, Mac, Jacksonville State went into Oxford and won. Unbelievable. This program could be a playoff program now, and fans can buy in, and their NIL is together, and holy shit. But back then, man, it was tough times, right? Louisiana Tech also beat them 27-7 in Oxford in 2011. Unbelievable, right? This is what happened. I remember these games. I remember BYU in the Mountain West sticking it to Ole Miss 14-13 there in Oxford. Oh, and then Memphis did it again. No way. How many times can Memphis beat you? 2015 and 2019? Oh, but guess what? They had access, and they got their shit together, and they got their finances in order, and they went out to the NIL market and got all these fucking players, and they had good coaching staffs, and now they're in the playoffs and they've won a game. I remember Ole Miss though as a fucking doormat. They used to be a complete doormat, but it's an exciting time to be an Ole Miss fan because they had access, but they fixed it. Oh, the same could be said for the fucking Oregon Ducks, because in my lifetime, they lost to an FCS Pacific at home at Autzen Stadium in '83. Holy shit, they lost 21-15. Pacific didn't even have a football program anymore. That shit ended in the next 10 years. Then, oh man, they lost to San Jose State too, 44-34. That's because they didn't have this guy. This guy, Phil Knight, had not become a billionaire yet. They had not become a billionaire yet. They lost to Hawaii 41-17 in '88 and in Honolulu. Impossible. And then, oh, no. It's not in the 90s. Colorado State. Oh, I remember when Oregon was absolute dog shit, right? But guess what? They had accessibility. See, the accessibility meanings like they're still a part of this conference, even though they suck, even though they're not holding their weight, they're allowed in the party. And guess what? Phil Knight and some other boosters threw a bunch of money in there. Their fan base got excited, and boom, all of a sudden Oregon fucking took off. Oh, but let's not forget, since 2008, because Boise State, remember, they were a community college in the 70s. They came up in the 90s, the late 90s, to the FBS level. And since 2008, that was the first year Oregon and Boise State played. Boise is 4-1 all time versus those Ducks. And that's crazy because Phil Knight's money started to take over in the late 90s. Unbelievable. That's impossible. We should not, the group of five should have no seat at the table, right? They're 4-1 all time. And their only loss was last year by 3 at Oregon on a kick return late. Unbelievable. But hey, let's not put the group of five at the table, right? I remember this shit. You need to keep the programs going, right? You need to give them the access. Tulane and JMU are taking strays because the system fucking sucks. It should be a much bigger playoffs. Those teams should keep the accessibility, because the only great thing, really, when I break it down, man, the only reason why all these people are shitting on it is because they're threatened. They're threatened. If they give them more access, then more money comes in. And guess what? Down the road, your little shittier schools, or maybe you're not as you're hot now, but you're not going to be as hot then. That is why the fucking games, there were blowouts. All college football has been blowouts my whole fucking life in key games. So shut the fuck up. JMU played good enough. They did have over 500 fucking yards of offense, way more than Tennessee did against Ohio State last year, or SMU against Penn State. I don't want to hear this bullshit. And Joel Klatt, I'm going to just say this right here, buddy. You're a former Buff. I'm a Buff fan, but your takes are fucking terrible. All right. Absolutely terrible. I remember this. All right. You were the starting quarterback of the Colorado Buffaloes in the Big 12 championship when you lost 70-3, and you're out there shitting on JMU. You lost 70-3 in a Big 12 championship, and you're going to criticize JMU and here's another thing too, is these coaches are gone to different schools. Every year is not going to be like this. And here's another thing that works. The more money you throw into these programs, the more chance they have at keeping their coaches. See Mark Few at Gonzaga. See Calhoun at UConn. See McKillop at Davidson. This is proof. It is proof that this will work. So just keep the system the way it is. Expand, get more teams, more opportunities, and that will be key for fucking college football and better for college football. I hate these people that are looking at this with a 1-year sample size. This is huge for JMU and Tulane. You don't even know how big it is. If you keep the system like this, 5 years from now, those schools are going to be completely different. 10 years from now, they're going to be completely different. Unbelievable.
Why, if the G5 is so bad, when the SEC had their openings, did they hire Silverfield at Arkansas, Galesh at Auburn, and what was the third? Oh, Summerall. Summerall's going to Florida. These big, prestigious SEC schools go, oh, let's hire these guys. Are they hiring these guys because they're running shitty programs? No, they won. They won their leagues. For 12 weeks, they earned their way to the college football playoff the way it was constructed. I don't want to hear that Texas deserved to be there. Texas did not deserve to be there. Shut the fuck up, everybody, with that take. It's a terrible take. You lost to a 4-win fucking goddamn Florida team that fired their coach.
They lost to a group of 5. South Florida didn't even make their conference championship. Which one is it? You cannot both be correct here. You cannot both be correct. All right. And I am so sick of that.
And you can't say, oh, they didn't look good this week. They didn't look good this week. Texas should have lost to Mississippi State and Kentucky too. We can play if you want to go down the list of who should have lost to who. Fuck, Texas should have been 6-6. And Notre Dame, I don't want to hear your bullshit either. You had a chance to beat A&M. You had a chance to beat Miami. You didn't beat anybody the whole rest of the year. You're out. You're out. I don't want to hear it. JMU earned their way there. They didn't play well yesterday. They got hit in the mouth. They still had 500 yards of offense.
Look,
I don't know if Notre Dame would have had 500 yards of offense in Eugene.
JMU could have played Oregon 100 times. They would have lost all 100 to me, right? It's a cross-country trip. Your coach is at UCLA. But the game still needs to happen. You don't just say that. 12-1, they deserve to be there. And JMU only played one team in the top 50. That's because no one will schedule them, Ty.
Nobody will schedule them.
And they lost. They lost by 14. That was a tie game in the fourth quarter. Look back at the year before when they dropped 70 at North Carolina. JMU 100% belong to be in the postseason in college football. It's a shame the postseason is as shitty as it is, because a 12-team playoff is ridiculous when you have 136 teams in one subdivision, right? You should have a much bigger sport like every other fucking tournament in college sports, right? Every other level, every other sport is wise enough, but the corruption in the FBS continues to rule the day. We've made leeway, but this talk of getting the group of 5 out of there that all these people are saying is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
They get Oregon out last year with the way they performed after going 13-0. They didn't earn it. And go ahead.
No, and I just want to say, like, we're also at this point where you have all this change going on at once within the sport, right? You've had the group of 5 lose UCF, Houston, BYU, SMU, all within the past 4 years, right? All of them. And then you also have had all this radical change where we don't even know where the sport is going. Each state's legislations are different, right? About NIL, about whatever, when you can recruit kids, right? This will settle down some, I think, at some point, right? But also, I believe the group of 5 teams will be a lot better at some point. We just talked about Tulane getting the most money that they've had in a while. This will continue to happen if you give them access. And with that, your teams will get better because the programs will have more money behind them. And therefore, that's why it's so short-sighted to look at it like they shouldn't be in for 1 year. You're not thinking about the big picture here. The big picture is the reason why we have a 12-team playoff, and these power conferences agreed on this, is because they thought it's worthy of this, to give the group of 5 one. Look at the power rankings between group of 5 teams this year as opposed to 5 years ago. It's down right now. That will not stay. Teams will come up of this. We've seen this a million times before. Go back and look when Utah and TCU were the top teams in the group of 5. Then they went to the Pac-12 and the Big 12. And all of a sudden, the next teams came up. This will continue to happen. I am so sick and tired of this fucking lazy narrative. And it's just these power suckers, right? These dudes that are pro SEC or pro Big 10 that are sitting there trying to say that these teams don't deserve because of 2 blowouts when all the fucking sports history is blowouts.
The whole fucking tournament was a blowout last year.
Yeah.
except for the game that everybody said was going to be a blowout. Remember, the Big 12 didn't deserve their bye. They should have beat Texas outright, Arizona State. That was the only game that was close that entire fucking playoff last year. And, I created this narrative last night. I hear the power ratings crowd loves to just say they'd be power rated 14 points better on a neutral field if they played Notre Dame against JMU. You know what? West Virginia would be 14 points better than Notre Dame. Why? Because I said so. There's no proof in any of this power ratings. It's your opinion. There's no proof. Why? Based off of what that Notre Dame would be 14 points better than JMU? Notre Dame didn't beat anybody the entire year. So you know what? I think West Virginia should be in the playoff. Why? Because I said so. I think just like those guys, West Virginia should be in the playoff. Who cares if they went 4-8? It's my opinion, and that's all. That's all these idiots are doing. Their money. They're in bed with the SEC and the Big Ten, and they're going to just keep doubling and tripling down and falling on the sword that these power ratings and that the G5 isn't even close. I completely disagree. We see G5 teams beat the power
ACC champ lost to the fucking Tulane.
Yes. Yeah. And there's a reason the SEC and Big Ten won't play them in the non-con. They won't schedule them.
Yeah.
And they hire all their coaches because they know they have a chance to lose those games.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to go back and look? Do you want to go back and look at this graphic? I would love to show you this graphic. Now, show me where I don't see. It's weird, isn't it ironic? Like the best group of fives.
Where's Boise?
Where's Memphis? Where's Boise? I don't see Fresno. I don't see East Carolina. I don't see. San Diego State. You don't see. I mean, like some of the better group of fives. I don't see any of them in here. Why? Because they know they could lose that game. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. And I just think, the flaw is not them in the playoff. The flaw is the playoff is too small. That's the flaw. To me, yeah, I agree with you in a 12-team format on what they built. Notre Dame had their chances. They failed. Texas had their chances. They failed. Vanderbilt, you could argue, right? But the reality is the playoff is too small. I think those teams are capable of winning the national championship. But if you have a bigger field in the playoffs, one thing that is not wrong, though, is Tulane and James Madison in the fucking playoffs. Fight me on that all fucking day. These idiots, they don't even understand the sport. The whole history of the sport's based on accessibility. You give them accessibility, right? And belief. The money follows it. Look at the schools that have come up. Go all the way back in the history of the sport. Anyway, we should take a second and read from the sponsors. But folks, want to tell you the college football experience is brought to you by Novig. Novig's America's #1 sports prediction market. With Novig, you are getting the best prices because they are an exchange. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. So get in on the action with Novig, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm has crushed college football this season, especially on props. Been really good at identifying when to fade players and take those unders. College basketball is now up and running with over 300 schools in D1 hoops. Rhythm has predictions for every game, every night. It pairs perfectly with the College Basketball Experience podcast, which is hosted by us. So get out there and get prepared. Super easy to sign up, run predictions off the house models, or make your own and play with those sliders. With so many sports and the holidays going on, this makes it easy to get an elite prediction on a game. So you can focus on other shit. So jump on over there. Use the promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app. That's RITHMM for 25% off your first month. Download Rhythm. Use that promo code SGPN25. All right. So let's take a look ahead at some of the matchups, man, because I am very excited for some of these matchups, even though it should be on campus. All this should be on campus. Major flaw in these games. But we do, and unfortunately we have the Cotton Bowl, but it's not played at the real Cotton Bowl anymore because Jerry Jones and corporate money came in. It needed to go back to the real Cotton Bowl, one of the greatest stadiums on planet Earth. But we get Miami and Ohio State. Pretty fire game. I'm curious what you think of this one just off the top. Now, obviously, gigantic coaching edge to the Buckeyes, but Ohio State laying 9.5. No idea. I'm assuming Ohio State will have the crowd just because their alumni base is so much bigger. 9.5 seems big though, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, rematch of the O2 championship. Ohio State, last time we saw them, they kind of shit down their leg in that Big Ten championship. So a chance to come into the playoff off a loss to make a statement back at Jerry's World where they beat Texas in that semifinal last year.
Yeah. Yeah. So we get that. That's on New Year's Eve, by the way, on December 31st. Very excited for that. We'll do our picks before that. So, and probably, I don't know, I think like 6-7 days. Next up we have this game, man. This is not, I mean, this is just, they played recently. Remember in Lubbock, and Texas Tech should have won that game. It was a ridiculous fourth quarter comeback by Oregon. Like Texas Tech did everything they could to lose that game. So I'm very excited to watch this. You know why? You know what's great about this matchup? They're kind of mirror images to me with their program. Like the new Phil Knight is Cody Campbell.
Yeah.
He's like the new Phil Knight, like one dude just changing the entire fucking program. So I do love that angle of it. But Oregon and Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl, currently Oregon is laying 1.5. Your thoughts on this? This game is fire, dude. Absolute fire. Your thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, basically a pick. So yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Money team versus money team here. Let's see if it's going to be that Nike money or that oil money that gets it done. It's an entertaining game, like you said, man. I remember that game in Lubbock 2 years ago. They fucking had them beat,
dude. That was one of the worst losses, like stolen wins of the entire season that year. It was just like, man, Oregon pulled that out their ass. 9 a.m. kickoff for those Duck fans, noon Eastern.
Big 12 disrespect is added again, by the way. A lot of people penciling Oregon into that semifinal because they claim Texas Tech didn't play anybody this year. We'll see, man.
This is gonna be great.
Yeah,
I mean, I could see either team winning, but yeah, it's gonna be great. Then we have that's gonna take. So this is New Year's Day, noon. Then that jumps into the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. First ever matchup between Alabama and Indiana. Love the drama. Love the fact Cignetti was previously at Alabama, like a decade ago, a little over a decade, with Nick Saban and his staff. And I love the fact that Kalen DeBoer used to be at Indiana with Tom Allen's staff, with Michael Penix and company. So love this matchup here at the Rose Bowl. Currently, Indiana's laying 6.5, which is a bit surprising that number's that high. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, like, did you ever think you would see Alabama as a touchdown underdog to Indiana in a playoff?
Never.
I mean, goddamn. I mean, I'm not trying not to tip my hand. If you're betting Indiana, like you're paying the premium here. Like I never thought I would see this.
Yeah.
I love Cignetti as much as anybody, but DeBoer has been a fucking motherfucker as a dog in these playoffs. Yeah. So we'll see. Can't wait. The granddaddy of them all, baby.
Yeah. Best one. And then, then you get this one, which is I think it's the worst one out of all 4 games. Ole Miss, Georgia. We had this one happen in Athens. Now it was a better game than I thought it was going to be in Athens earlier this year. Back on October 18th, Georgia won by 8. But now there's no Lane Kiffin. You would think with Ole Miss's proximity that they could have the crowd, but I don't think they will. I think it'll be a Georgia crowd. What's this number currently at right now? 6.5 for Georgia. This seems like the biggest layup to me. Yeah. I mean, we'll get to our picks in a couple of days, and I'm sure line movement will occur, but this one kind of seems like a layup, right?
Yeah, I just the Ole Miss game had the get up spot against the rally fuck Lane Kiffin game. Now they're down there in New Orleans. Lane Kiffin's state now at LSU. I saw him tweeting about welcome to the boot, Ole Miss. Like, oh my God, he doesn't give a shit. He's the best show on Twitter. It's gonna be hard to go against Kirby off a bye against a rookie head coach.
Yeah.
Second game. I mean, this is kind of a tough spot for Ole Miss, in my opinion.
Yeah. We had some other outcomes. I didn't want to ruin the the main part of the show, which was, I thought just over the top hate for the group of 5 in the playoffs, which I think they're such fucking bitches. Everyone that's on that take is a bitch to me because they don't think about the sport's health. They're thinking about a 1 year thing, But I wanted to react some on the FCS shit. We got the Stagg Bowl D3 National Championship. Now this game's not happening until January 4th.
Let's go.
But over the weekend, North Central destroyed John Carroll. That was on Saturday. North Central's just a wagon. This is in Canton, Ohio. Wisconsin River Falls and Johns Hopkins was one of the best games this Saturday. Oh my God. Like a fucking 80-yard touchdown pass with 30 seconds left from Wisconsin River Falls wins the game on it. Unbelievable. It's going to be look, Wisconsin River Falls has been a terrible program the past 15 years. This is so huge for them. But at the same time, North Central is a fucking wagon and I just can't see anybody getting in their way. But I'm curious your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, it used to be Wisconsin Whitewater, now River Falls in the final, North Central's rolling. Can't wait for this game.
Heartbreaking loss for Johns Hopkins, man. Yeah. That shit. I mean, they were up, I think, more of that game than River Falls was, but
and it's in Ohio, like that.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Love that. And then the next day, after January 5th is Illinois State, Montana State. Let's talk about this for a second. Montana State, Montana, another blowout, by the way, in the Brawl of the Wild. I cashed on both of my FCS plays. But man, that scene was great. The crowd was incredible. Probably the most historic football game in the history of the state of Montana. They advanced Brent Vegan. That was my logic. That was your logic. And the handicap was this guy was offered Oregon State and he said, I'll take it, but I gotta see my Bobcats through the FCS playoffs. And Oregon State told him to go fuck himself. And look what's happening, man. And that's why it's an interesting spot, man. They're in the Natty. There's no North Dakota State on the other side, but there is Illinois State, who has been just Mad Max road warrior. They opened up at Southeast Louisiana, went down there, took care of business against the Lions. Then Fargo, North Dakota, 24.5-point dogs, took care of business. Then Davis, California, dogs again, took care of business. Then Philadelphia, Pennsylvania against Villanova, dogs again. And they keep winning. Tommy Rittenhouse and company. I mean, this is a great story going on. And guess what? They're a team that had it been a 12-team playoff, they would have not been in, by the way. More proof that you should open the fucking field up. Thoughts on this matchup, though, man?
Yeah, you get Cinderella versus a team that kind of just looks like an unstoppable force right now in Montana State. So can neutral site here at Nashville. I can't wait for this. Can Montana State finish it off here?
I still think we should go out to this game, dude.
What day is it again?
Monday the 5th.
Monday the 5th. Need to look at my calendar.
We go catch a Belmont game.
I know you like the Belmont game.
Belmont basketball on the 4th, right? Is it Monday the? Yeah. Then we catch this. I haven't seen the spread on this game yet.
I haven't seen it released. I haven't seen it released yet. I'm
just gonna. Let me see. I might have. No, it's still not. Yeah, still nothing. But we will have you updated with this one. And we'll let you know if we're gonna get out to that game. But man, fire slate. All right. Before we get out of here, what is the 4-team invitational or 4-game invitational with 12-team invitational? What is the game you want to see most? Rank the 4, actually.
Number 1's going to be Tech and Oregon, I think. Then I'll go Alabama, Indiana. Then Ohio State, Miami, and then 4th will be that fucking SEC on SEC game.
I think I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah.
Go Dogs.
All right. Well, folks, that's our show. Great fucking season. Great seeing the 12-team playoff. Great seeing Tulane and James Madison in the playoffs. Expand that field, get more games. I mean, could you imagine? Let's just say, what is that, 12? If you add in Imagine if we had Vanderbilt at Notre Dame. Imagine if we had BYU at Texas or Texas at BYU. Imagine if we had what, I don't know, after that, I don't know who the fuck was just who was right outside of that? It was Utah. Imagine if we had Utah and Iowa. Right? But just think of those scenes, right? Think of those scenes. Like, who cares? Maybe you don't think Utah could win the national championship. Maybe you're right. I don't give a shit. Like, wouldn't that be great though? If you're sitting there, you're like, man, we got a game at Provo, Lavelle Edwards Stadium, Texas at BYU, Notre Dame Stadium. I know we saw that last year, right? Where Vandy's got to go into Notre Dame. Or, you know, I know they probably wouldn't pair those teams up because of that, but man, that would be fucking great. It would probably look more like something like, it would probably be more something like Utah at Notre Dame or something like that, or Iowa at Vanderbilt or something like that. But man, it would be great. Folks, give Moneyline Mac a follow on Twitter at Moneyline_Mac. I'm on Twitter at TheColBD. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. And fuck all the haters. All right. The whole programs were built on this. And we'll be talking about that forever on this fucking show. All right. Till next time, this is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here. Run, shoot.